Hey guys, what's going on? This is Matt Wenning at winningstrength.com. Today we have another ridiculous video to watch. This is where a lifter almost kills the entire spotting crew by dumping the weight. And I want to go over some factors on how this could have been avoided and some of my personal experiences with seeing this happen as well. Now, I want to give you guys some background story. First of all, I've seen this happen quite a few times in my last 30 years, 25 of which were competing. And a lot of times people got completely thrown out or banned from contests for doing this. The one that stands out to me was 2006 APF Senior Nationals. I'm attempting at that meet to squat my first 1,003, which was a huge milestone for anyone. But at that time, it was a big mark because only about 4 or 5 guys had squatted 1,000 pounds at Westside Barbell, and I was going to be the 5th or 6th to do it. With that being said, my last name, W.E., was later in the alphabet, and there was a guy before me that actually was attempting the 1,003 before I was going. So I was right behind him. I was about 6 feet, maybe 8 feet away from the monolift, and I'm preparing my equipment to get ready to squat the 1,003. Chuck Vogelpool's wrapping my knees. Louis Simmons is giving me some coaching advice. I'm pretty ramped up. You know, it's Vegas. It's my first big pro nationals. And this guy right before me takes the 1,003 and dumps it the opposite way of this video. He actually dumps it forward. And the bar was so sharp that it scalped his head and that the spotters got the weight underneath their hands caught. One of them did. And it actually took his fingers off. So imagine 1,000 pounds coming down on 2 fingers. The fingers lose, right? So they clean all that up. They put the weight back down to a manageable amount to get it back up on the rack. And they give me 10 minutes to squat. Talk about some serious testicular fortitude on that lift, right? I end up getting it. And after that lift, I remember Chuck and Louie go, man, that was the ballsiest lift I've ever seen anybody do. And that started my process in the professional ranks in powerlifting. But back to this particular video, let's watch the video in its full entirety, and then we'll start to do some breakdowns on what I think happened and how this could have been avoided. Now, most times if you read the rule books, they'll tell you if you do this, that you're automatically disqualified, could be even maybe banned from the particular federation, which I think is heavily warranted. Most people, when you're falling with those kind of weights, and it seems is totally extreme, you know, a 400 kg squat 10 or 15 years ago was almost unheard of raw. And now we see guys doing it constantly all the time. I remember when I broke my first raw world record with no knee wraps, at 832, Scott Weech had that world record for over 10 years when I took it. And then it seemed like everything exploded and blossomed out, which is cool to see the sport evolve for sure. But what we're seeing is guys that obviously are very young and have very little experience doing these types of things and putting a lot of people in danger. I think that although commemorable to walk out squats that heavy, I'm not so sure that it's the safest way to do things. I think this could have possibly been avoided being a more dangerous situation from having lifting straps and using a monolift. Now, even if you don't use the monolift in and of itself, to walk out of a monolift allows you to have something from the top to actually protect the weights from falling to the ground. Because as we've seen, and we'll see in this next video, which I posted before, is a lot of times when weights go all the way to the ground is when people get hurt. I've done videos on guys breaking their necks. There was a girl that we're showing this video now of her breaking her neck from falling forward. This particular video showed it throwing backward, and then the guy just walking away like it's no big deal. I think that's a huge problem. So let's break down the scenario and what I think happened with this particular squat. First, his walkout looks pretty good and stable. If you look at the walkout particular portion of himself, he's not shaking. He looks like he's got good control of the weight. The bar position looks pretty good. Everything looks really good upon the squat and even on the descent. Where things get crooked is where he comes up. He's actually way on his heels, which I like to coach, but his lateral pressure on his feet is not good. This causes balance issues, and you can have the same problem. Most of the times you see this problem going forward because people tend to go on their toes when they squat. This guy's actually staying on his heels, which in one particular problem is not a huge issue, but the problem is you have to push out as much as you sit back. And you notice how upright his torso is. He appears to be pretty tall to have that upright of a torso, which can cause balance issues. If you notice guys like myself, Ed Cohen, Steve Goggins, we lean into the squat, even old school guys like John Cook. The reason that you do that is to maintain pressure over the medium middle part of the femur. And for him, looking like he's pretty tall for being a good squatter, he's trying to maintain a very upright back position. This upright back position tells me that his posterior chain's weak, and he's trying to squat with mostly quads, which is odd because why is he falling backwards? Well, what happens is when you're inexperienced is that when you get to the bottom and you reverse those weights, sometimes having a quick rebound, which can be a good thing, especially with raw squats and knee wraps, tends to be a Russian roulette on balance. So what happens is he comes up, his foot pressure's off, and then that's where the issues start to happen. He actually rebounds out of the hole, maybe gets an inch or two out of the bottom, and then you notice the weights just fall backward slowly. Now, the rule book states that you need to stay in control of the weight at all times. So what he should have done is he was falling backwards, and I'm sure that was an extreme amount of weight, no matter what his body weight was. But if he would have held on for another second or two, the other spotters should have been able to grab that with two guys on the side and one guy behind him. But again, 400 kgs, it's a Russian roulette. You're looking at 881 pounds. And when those things start to fall, they multiply in how much they weigh. So in my opinion, the IPF, the USPA, and a lot of these other organizations that still utilize racks to walk out and spotters, people are getting too strong to do that now. And it's more of a dangerous situation than it is a positive thing, even though that's the way they did it in the old school days. I find that back in the old days that guys didn't get that strong, maybe ever, or even if they did, it took many, many, many years for them to get up to that level. Therefore, their experience was much higher, and we didn't hear about people dropping weights nearly as much. So I find that not only is it safe for the lifter to use something that has straps, but also the ability to protect spotters. Let's face it, most people that do spotting at meets are doing it for the love of the sport or because they're getting a discount at the gym membership that day. Whatever the case may be, they're not getting paid hundreds or thousands of dollars to put their limbs or their life in danger. So I think with squatting, we have to be very careful and protect the people around us. And with these kind of weights and 400 kg and plus now, even nearly raw, we need to start analyzing how do we keep this safe? Because we know as lifters that this stuff is really dangerous. We know that we can be hurt at any time, especially with those kind of weights with just real wacky things. We can blow out our knee. We can hurt our back. We can mess up our elbows or our shoulders. But is it really the responsibility for the spotter to take the responsibility to catch you if you're falling with 900 pounds? In my personal opinion, the answer is no. But we deal with a lot of inexperienced lifters that are way stronger than their experience allows. And then what we see is these types of things happening. So if you're going to squat, again, make sure you squat in a cage with safety pins. Make sure you use the straps on the monoliths. And make sure you're experienced enough for these types of weights. It's a huge problem that we have today. There's too many people dying or getting severely injured from squatting when they could just fix it really, really simple. So I hope this video helped you out a little bit. Maybe you make some similar mistakes on the squats and it saved you. Hopefully we'll see you guys on Patreon or Train Heroic. And if you want, we can write online programs for you as well. And we can watch videos and make sure that this form doesn't happen to you as you get stronger. Talk to you guys later.